Welcome back to the Triple Option on 365 Sports. I'm Paul Catalina alongside Steven Simcox, and it is time for the Wednesday Wheel of Whimsy, and this is Celebrity Stadium Names.
Yes, this was inspired by last night, and you guys are having Casey Keeler on the show today, right?
Yep.
So
and our guy, Kavion Gaither, made a big interception in the game. Yeah.
He did. Cats,
Connolly.
Sam Houston, they go into Pitbull Stadium, played FIU last night. They won. They're bowl eligible. And it was named this year Pitbull Stadium in honor of the rapper Pitbull.
Dolly.
I don't know if he's an FIU alum or if he's just
he's Miami.
Okay. He's just Miami.
Mr. Miami.
He's just Mr. Miami.
Yeah.
On Miami Vice night.
Yeah.
They lost to Sam Houston.
Yeah.
But it made me think, if we're going to give naming rights to celebrities, who would some of those people be? So we got schools and celebrities here.
Okay.
Ball State.
Ball State, Letterman Stadium.
David Letterman Stadium.
His name, my niece, goes to Ball State.
Oh, really?
Yes, she goes to Ball State and the Letterman School of Communications, of which she's a photography major. That's her school, and she didn't really realize who that was. And I was like, it's David Letterman. He's like one of the most famous comedians of all time. I would take David Letterman Stadium at Ball State, for sure.
She didn't know who David Letterman was?
Not really. I mean, she kind of got it from, like, walking through the halls where there's, like, pictures of him, but she's like, I don't know anything about him.
That's crazy.
Well, golly.
Yeah, I don't even know who else would be there. I think Jason Whitlock went to Ball State, but
David Letterman's way better.
That's a can of worms.
Yeah, David Letterman's way better. Yeah, no.
Ball State, David Letterman Stadium.
Yeah.
Also, our good friend, so at Radio Row one year, which is, it's just a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And, Paul, it's active all day long.
Yes.
So our friends Q and Ward were there in the morning, and they interviewed Mike Golick Jr. and another man whose name I forgot. And Mike Golick Jr. at the time was not – I think he was still doing, like, the pregame to Mike and Mike. Like, he was on at 4 a.m. And
Ward didn't know who he was.
Ward didn't know who he was. And he mentioned, I guess he did a quick Google search and got the wrong name and said, hey, you went to Ball State.
Went to Notre Dame. But
Joe went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And it was pretty awkward, and that tape did not make the air. That interview got burned.
As bad of anything as I've ever seen in my life, and Q was ready to kill him. Yeah,
that was a rough scene. And I was still a young producer at the time, and so I was like just really laser focused on doing my job. So we got done, and I was editing, and I'm getting this thing queued up, and Q was like, that's never seen the light of day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, never put that in the trash. Never play that.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
And every time I've seen Mike Golick Jr. since then, he can't place me, but he knows that when he met me, something weird happened and that I had to apologize. Like, he can't quite do it. Like, hey, Mike, Paul Catalina. Oh, yeah. He pretends like he remembers me. But then I can see it in his head like, I met this guy under very strange circumstances. I know he wasn't the problem, but I know he was there.
It's like repressed trauma. You're like a ghost from Christmas past.
Yeah, it's like, this was weird. And honestly, it was disrespectful. And
it was, yeah.
Yeah. They did just kind of show up.
They did. It's a tough situation,
But yeah. But once a bad thing like that happens and the cat's out of the bag, you can't
bring it back.
Yeah. No. It was bad. All right, here we go. USC. They play at the legendary LA Coliseum. And by legendary, I mean old. Like, that's one thing they need to, throw a couple coats of paint on. Mm-hmm. Maybe do some things with. You say Snoop Dogg Stadium.
Snoop Dogg Stadium.
I'm pushing back.
Okay.
Snoop Dogg, not an alum, although he's probably the most famous USC fan. Mm-hmm. I'm going to name it Will Ferrell Stadium. Will Ferrell is an actual, look, okay, maybe even better, George Lucas Stadium. Steven Spielberg Stadium.
Yeah, USC's got a deep
They've got a
repertoire
deep roster
of Hollywood people.
Yeah, that went there. But like, Snoop Dogg in the same vein of like Pitbull and FIU, yes, but Snoop Dogg didn't go to USC. I would maybe if I'm USC have more of an alum flavor to it, right? So I'm gonna say, let's name it after George Lucas or Steven Spielberg.
In fairness, Snoop Dogg also seems like a guy who just kind of jumps to whatever team shows him love.
Or he's friends with a guy,
Yeah,
right?
he's
friends with a lot of people. So
yeah. So he's not as committed to USC as like a Will Ferrell is.
Yeah. No, Will Ferrell is he's deep in it.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
Ohio State.
You say LeBron James.
LeBron James Stadium.
No.
LeBron James Stadium.
No.
He said that's where he would go to school, Paul, if you played basketball in college.
He didn't go to school there. He didn't go to school there. So the basketball stadium or the football stadium should be named after him. Oh gosh. Let me do a little quick
Google on Ohio State celebrities. I mean, there's plenty of football players that you could name it after. You could name it Archie Griffin Stadium.
Okay. Famous Ohio State alumni.
Honestly, Kirk Herbstreit's made a great career himself, but he's kind of polarizing.
Oh, look, this one's no-brainer. Jesse Owens Stadium.
Oh, yeah, that's a better one.
Jesse Owens Stadium. I mean, there's no one else. By the way, in this article from the Columbus Dispatch, Urban Meyer is also listed right underneath Jesse Owens. Urban Meyer, who's on a show that has stolen the name of this one. So I'm going to really lean into this. Yes, I know he won a national championship there. I get that. But to put him in the article right below Jesse Owens, like maybe the most important athlete of the 20th century in a lot of regards for what he did and how he fought through it and where he did it and who he did it in front of. There's
a little bit of difference in character there.
Yeah, a little difference than, being a black athlete that dominated the Olympics in front of Hitler, who didn't think you deserved to live. Then I'm just really good at coaching football. So, also Jack Nicklaus, R.L. Stein, famous
Goosebumps, yeah.
Richard Lewis, the late Richard Lewis, a comedian. All these I would rather have than the name of the stadium than Urban Meyer. Let's see. Alan Freed, famous DJ. Bobby Knight was there, but George Steinbrenner. Patricia Heaton of Everybody Loves Raymond. No wonder I hate Ohio State. Is it Gary LaVox or Laveau that's the lead singer of Rascal Flatts? Ohio State grad. Well, that does it. I'm never pulling for you for anything.
Life is a highway.
Just canceled out Jesse Owens for me. When my wife and I first got together, we were in the car listening to the 80 station, and Life's the Highway came on, and it's the first time she had heard the non-Rascal Flatts, or maybe it was the 90s, whatever it was, but late 80s, early 90s. When that song came out, she was like, "Oh, I thought this was Rascal Flatts." And I was like, "We are not going to make it."
Take it back. Arizona State. Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes, I'm all for it. He sponsored a bowl game. Kimmel Stadium works. I like Kimmel Stadium. I like that. Although, to mess with him, they should name it Matt Damon Stadium.
That'd be funny.
If anybody's ever watched that show, it's the longest running joke in the history of television. They've managed to make it better each and every time.
Keeps bumping Matt Damon.
It's never been a guest on the show. There was one time when he was in what was the movie they did about the World War II people who were saving the art? Bill Murray and George Clooney and John Goodman were all in it.
Oh yeah, I can't think of the
And
name.
so anyway, they were all there in the cast, and they all had nice, comfortable chairs, and he made them sit on a little tiny stool. The Monuments Men. Thank you. Yeah, Monuments Men. He made Matt sit all the way at the end, and then they just asked disparaging questions about Matt the whole time. That's how they promoted the movie.
Yeah. It's turned into a great, almost universe in some ways. Just him his beef with Matt Damon.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Baylor, Magnolia Stadium. I don't think there's any other way around this. If our whole city is promoted through Magnolia, you might as well lean into it.
Just put some shiplap up in there, baby.
Exactly. Yeah, the ship just all around the sides, and make that put a whole bunch of fancy old school looking clocks, and some new backsplash.
Do you have beef with Jeff Dunham because he's a ventriloquist, or do you think he's funny?
I mean, he's not my thing, but no, I don't have beef with him.
Okay.
No, I mean,
he's not my thing either. But
it's not my thing.
I didn't know what you thought as an actual comedian.
No, I'm thrilled that a comedian can make that much money. So no, good for him. Again, anybody who does stand up, I'm behind you.
Right.
Because it's a really difficult thing to do. I just admit that there are certain things that just aren't my thing. And I've laughed at some of his stuff. It's just, ventriloquism.
Come on.
It's not vaudeville.
Yeah.
So. Oh, no, absolutely not. It should not be Paul Catalina.
Catalina Stadium. Come on.
No. Burt Reynolds needs everything. There's not enough stuff at FSU that's named after Burt Reynolds. I would name everything
after Burt.
The most famous person to ever attend Florida State University.
I'm going to start
even more so than Deion Sanders.
I'm going to start a change.org petition to get your name on the stadium, Paul. I don't know how many signatures we'll get, but we're going to give it a go.
Not many. There was a push recently to pull Doak Campbell's name off the stadium because he was the university president that built the stadium when it was first built, because he was not really a huge proponent of desegregation. I wouldn't say he was an opponent of it, but he was not
speaking out.
He was not on the floor. He was like, whatever happens, happens. Leave me out of it.
Yeah, pretty passive about it.
I'll do whatever the people say, but I'm not about to in North Florida in the 60s or 50s go, we need to do this. And that was kind of his position, was he was just gonna let it happen. And I don't think that's fair to take his name off the stadium for that. But if you just wanted to name it after Bobby Bowden, it's Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium, which I'm fine with. I would rather just call it Bobby Bowden Field. That's what I'd rather it be. But if you're naming it after a celebrity, then it's got to be Burt. It's got to be Burt Reynolds. And then you have the Lee Corso weight facility.
Yeah, Burt's greatness. That makes sense.
Oklahoma for Toby Keith. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I watched the tribute concert that they did to him recently, and I'm a pretty solid Toby Keith fan. Although his more popish stuff I don't like. But,
right.
When he did a real country song, it was a country song. So yeah, I'm fine with this one.
Do it now, Oklahoma. Change the vibes.
Yeah. Kansas State. This is probably the last one we'll do.
So Eric Stone Street's probably the most famous celebrity from there.
Yeah, let me see if there's anybody who could compete with him. Eric Stone, he would love it. I mean, he's a huge fan.
Yeah.
So Cam from Modern Family, famous K-State alums. Let's see if there's anybody who's more famous
besides Bill Snyder, obviously.
Alumni, famous Kansas State alumni. Look. I mean, they've got some impressive people.
Politically?
Yeah, they've got really, really impressive people. But let's see.
But fame-wise,
I mean, there's a ton of NFL players. NBA guys, let's skip all that.
Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson Stadium. The Packer fan screams from the gallery.
Okay, so in his world of entertainment, the next step would be Kirstie Alley. So no, I definitely think it's him. Or the actual Aaron Brockovich. Not Julie Roberts, but the actual Aaron Brockovich is a K-State alum.
Okay.
So, all right, let's do one more. We've got time for one more.
All right.
Yeah, I think McConaughey's look, he's essentially marked his territory anyway.
Minister of Culture.
Yeah, he's the minister of culture. It can't be not Daryl K. Royal, but if you're going to name it, if you're going to do a corporate sponsorship, if you're going to do a corporate sponsorship like this, then it would have to be him.
Glen Pal's chasing him, though.
Yeah, Glen Pal's
He's running right after him.
New McConaughey.
Yep.
Yeah, he's look, he's doing movies with Richard Linklater, Hitman, which is really good.
It was good, yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing Glen Powell's chasing him. He's doing these romantic comedies with the hot girl of the minute. He's certainly stealing all McConaughey's moves. It's fine. Matthew's not mad about it.
No, he's not. He's just running the playbook.
Yeah. But you're the next dude from Austin.
Go for it.
I think he lives there. I don't think he
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he lives in Austin. He's not, that's not a hard thing to do for Hollywood anymore. But, when Matthew McConaughey did it originally, him and Sandra Bullock's ooh, they're living in Austin. Wow, neat. Now it's
old hat.
They're one of many. So, Steven, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
TCU Tech this weekend. Does TCU win this game?
Yes, they do.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to inform my pick 'em. I'm 2 games behind Craig, chasing him for the lead. Today, we've got Sam Houston State coach Casey Keeler off their big win last night. They are bowl eligible.